We're doing Weekly Word 42, and we're recording this while we're on the weekly address. So when this is done, we're going to have it. I'll probably upload it while we're doing the weekly address and make sure everybody gets copies. Now, I want everyone to take a good look. I just found this afternoon, and we just realized it just couldn't wait. Oh, now it's okay. Now see, now it's buffering. I had them all queued up. Now it's buffering.
Yes.
Okay, this is deep, and some of you have already seen this because I had put it up on Facebook earlier today. Now, where I am at is what's called Treaty 6 territory. Treaty 6 territory. Oh, what's happening? Oh, this is happening. Okay, well, we'll fix that. See, they're always trying to mess with me, but that's beautiful. That just shows we're on the path. Okay. All right. So, last week, rather, we were talking about what was happening with the Jonah Bay on the last weekly word, and we talked about how Jonah Bay is now pushing people down in ATL to do the SF 181. And I said, well, a year ago you said that, you know, I did that, it's no good, don't do nothing for me. Now you're pushing people. I just froze up, y'all. See? Okay. So now he's turning around and saying to do it. Now, this, what you all seeing on, I'm in Treaty 6, what they call Treaty 6 territory. The city of Edmonton ain't even supposed to be here. Now, we're just next to, we're right over Idaho, and Idaho, Montana, and Oregon off to the west. So this area is actually an Indian reservation. The city of Edmonton, the province of Alberta as they call it, is actually on an Indian reservation. They had a treaty that they established with the Cree and the Wood Plains Indians, which of course they haven't honored and still don't honor. However, this all area from here, Edmonton, Calgary, was actually supposed to be treaty land. So this should have been the Cree, the Blackfeet, etc. Instead, because they had oil, bitumen, etc., so then they came and encroached like they always do. So this MLA successfully pushes for Black History Month at the legislature. So now I'm going to read this. David Shepherd is set to bring Black History Month to Alberta's legislature. The MLA for Edmonton Centre said Friday, which Edmonton Centre is downtown, said Friday he has received official word from the Speaker's office that he can host a formal event at the provincial building next year, which would be 2017, the first time the month has been officially recognized. Look at the timing. This was published on Friday, December 16th. Shepherd said he thinks it's vital to honor Black history in Alberta. It's important to recognize the rich history and diversity of Black heritage in the province. Also, recognizing the African and Caribbean community are part of our province and they're great contributors, Shepherd said. Diversity is a real strength in our province and adds a lot to our communities. He said he felt that as the only current sitting MLA who is Black, he should help make it happen. Yep, get that right there on that camera. Shepherd said he believes this will be the first time Black History Month will be officially marked at the legislature. There's some punchlines for y'all in a second. Just hold on. Shepherd said he believes this will be the first time Black History Month will be officially marked at the legislature. It will be among other firsts celebrated at the provincial buildings in recent years, including the Day of the Dead of November 1st, 2016. So we missed that.
What's that about?
That's why they say muerta. Dios el muerta. For Day of the Dead, that's a Vodun tradition.
Okay.
right after Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting, but they keep that hush hush. Now, why would the Alberta Provincial Legislature celebrate the Day of the Dead on November 1st at the Alberta Legislature and not put that out? And they may have, but we didn't see it. We didn't saw that.
Yeah.
Because that's honoring the ancestors. There's a lot of Cree graveyards that the city and the buildings and structures are sitting on. So it's interesting they would have a Day of the Dead. The upcoming February 2nd event will have speakers from the government, official opposition parties, and representatives from the African and Caribbean communities. Plans are still in the works, but Shepherd, who sits in the NDP government caucus, said he hopes more get involved. So, Mr. Shepherd, we are going to talk to you through the wonders of the excellent communications in the internet and technology. We're going to give you some knowledge that is applicable in your position, which you, now that you have been given it, you must stop and correct the wrongs. First of which being, black has no standing at law. When we look at the NCES, which we have here on the screen, it explains, this is the definitions for new race and ethnicity categories. Now, the categories do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origins. These were developed in 1997 by the Office of Management and Budget that are used to describe groups to which individuals belong, identify with, or belong in the eyes of the community. The categories do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origins. The designations are used to categorize U.S. citizens, which are corporations, resident aliens, which are corporations, and other eligible non-citizens. So when we go down here, Mr. Shepherd, I would like to ask you, and I know there's a lot of black intellectuals in what they call the city of Edmonton corporately, which is actually on Treaty 6 territory, who like to call themselves black, or African American, or African Canadian. This is the definition: a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. When we go down here, before we go down, there are no black racial groups of Africa. The people who are from Africa, and there's quite a few up here, do not call themselves black. They call themselves by their tribe, village, their land, their culture, but they do not call themselves black in their language. So, going down here, this is endorsed by and sanctioned by the U.S. Department of Education. Now, some African Canadians and African Caribbeans will say, that's the U.S. that has nothing to do with us. Well, I'm here to bust your bubble and smash it. Because when we go to this website here, which is called ACRO, which is called Advancing Global Higher Education, definitions for race and ethnicity categories. Categories developed in 1997, it's the exact same thing that we're seeing here. The categories do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origins. Hold on a second here. There we go. I'll get back to you in a second, Talk, while we're just doing this weekly word 42 here. We want you all to see it, and so when this goes up, other people will see we did this in front of all those who are on our weekly address who get it. Where are we at here? Okay, so we go down again. The categories do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origins, which means they are not talking about anthropology, or they are not talking about organics. They're talking about commerce. When we go down here, we see the same definition again. Black or African American. And as we scroll down, we'll see the breakdown of it again. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. So, again, for the African Canadian, the African Caribbean, you might say, oh, that's nonsense, we black. Well, I have to show you something else. When we go to ACRO, we go on their website, and they're based out of Washington. They have what's called a, let's see, that's the 2015 membership. Okay. Here's their demographics. This is the most telling thing. These are the members of a crow. A crow, and in case they want to know, we'll just read what this is a crow is about. Because I just want people to, so they can see this, okay, about, there we go. A crow is a non-profit, let me just move these boxes over so when they see weekly word 42, they're not missing anything. A crow is a non-profit, voluntary, professional association of more than 11,000 higher education professionals who represent approximately 2,600 institutions in more than 40 countries. Its mission is to provide professional development, guidelines, and voluntary standards to be used by higher education officials regarding the best practices in records management, admissions, enrollment management, administrative information, technology, and student services. A crow represents institutions in every part of the higher education community, from large public institutions to small private liberal arts colleges. The association promotes the well-being and advancement of professionals in the higher education community by engaging members in the collaborative pursuit of excellence in admissions, registration, and enrollment services. The association provides relevant programs, professional development tools, and information resources necessary to chart the course for professional success. Now, I know how these African American, African Canadian, African Caribbeans will think, well, what does this have to do with anything? We're going to show you right now. When we go to the data of the 2015 membership of a crow, we're going to go to their pie charts. This is members by gender, so 69% are female, 31% male. When we go down to the members by country, this is for the U.S. That's what you see here. Now, this is the pie chart for members outside of the United States. They're in Washington. So, what do you see over here in the left? You see Canada right here. 80% of the membership of a crow, meaning the higher institutions like University of Toronto, York University, University of Alberta, University of Canada, University of BC, McMaster, Ryerson, all those Canadian colleges, universities, and private institutions, 80% of Crow's membership comes from Canada. So now, when we go further down here, and you could see other countries like Trinidad, Tobago, Peru, Morocco, Kenya, Jamaica, etc. When you look at this chart here, I'll put the link in here, and we'll make this link also available when we do the when we set this video up. We'll have the link there available for everybody so they can see it for themselves. What this means is this over here, the race and ethnicity of a crow, which is imitating the SF-181, it is imitating the NC, which is the IPEDS, National Center for Education Statistics. This is worldwide. This is not restricted to the United States, as we could see, where there's other countries there. So this means that every Canadian university, every Canadian college, every Canadian high school, every Canadian secondary school, post-secondary, elementary, kindergarten, they all know that the black students, or even the African and the Caribbean students, they call them all black. They know you all are not black. And the fact that this MLA from downtown Edmonton Center is getting an acknowledgement from the Alberta legislature, okay, you can do Black History Month here, is a confession they know you all are white and they're not going to tell you. And before, because I know how some of y'all say, go haul your ass. I want to show you all something here. We have on official authority. Where are you hiding, Barack? Always hiding. Okay, that's our UPR report on Canada. Let's see. I just had him here. Well, I'll just pull him up. Okay, Barack Obama. Oh, I know. This is in my face. This Facebook here. Okay, That's our notes. I think this is it. Yes. No, that's our UPR report. Okay, Barack Obama. Black has no standing at law. We'll put that on Facebook because we have it there on Facebook. There we go. Here it is. Okay, so I want everybody to see this so when they look at it. Okay, now, we put this up in December 15, 2014. This is way before, what's his name? Shabazz L even came on the scene. Facebook / CIA is blocking me from posting Barack Obama on the Tom Joyner Morning Show about the fact that black has no standing at law. Now, here is the picture. Finally, after all this time, I finally found the quote. This is it, where Barack Obama, let's go back here. I want one a little bigger. Let's see if we can get the other one. Okay, so we'll just do it this one then. Oh, beautiful. This is the link for theirs. Okay, he said it, not me. So Tom Joyner interviews President Barack Obama on his Tom Joyner Morning Show and greets him by saying it's our first black president. Black president of the United States. President Obama replies, Tom, I don't look at myself as the first black president because the word black has no standing at law. And it went silent for about 15 seconds on radio, which is a long time. So, Barack Obama knows black has no standing at law. To what? Who else knows? He knows the NCES has confirmed this with their definition, black has no standing at law, by saying black is a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. That there are none. And where it talks about American Indian or Alaska Native, that would apply to people from the Caribbeans as well as what they call North America, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, who maintains cultural identification through tribal affiliation or community attachment. So that would apply to your people from the Caribbean, Central America, South America. You all are more American Indian than the American Indians that they're talking about in Hollywood. The next thing, and the last thing as far as that's concerned, is the White House now is wanting to change the definition of white and take off Middle East and North Africa, which is already here on the NCES, or the iPads as it's called. White, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. And so the White House now, look at the timing. This is what we want everybody to see. The timing of this. Now, this was published on October 2nd on USA Today. That's October, November, December. 2 months later, what do we see? We see here, we see this article in the Metro, Edmonton Metro. And this date was December 16th, Friday, which was just yesterday. So when you look at the timing and the Alberta he successfully pushes. So if this was such a big deal, why didn't the Alberta legislature put this on a website and be happy about it? The reason for that is this. It's actually shameful. It's not something to be proud about. When we go here, no, that's not the one we want. This is it. Who is the first black person to set foot on Canadian soil? His name was Mathieu da Costa. And they say he was a free man who was hired as a translator for Samuel de Champlain's 1605 excursion. the first shipload of African slaves to reach British North America landed at Jamestown in 1619. Now let's look at this, people. Why would Samuel de Champlain, which means he speaks French, need Matthew da Costa, a black person, as a translator? So obviously da Costa must have spoke some kind of Indian language, because they said this is the first black person to set foot on Canadian soil. So I said, okay, we found that in 2 seconds. So I said, let's see who this Matthew da Costa is. And I have that queued up. Let's see if that's it over here. Oh yeah, we're taking our sweet time because we want everybody to see this. Okay, so we'll look at Matthew da Costa. And they even have a picture of him. This is him right here. Matthew da Costa is the first recorded free black person in Canada. He was a member of the exploring party of Pierre Duguay, the Sieur de Mons, and Samuel de Champlain in the early 17th century. So black people been here since the 1700s. Well, look where they say he was born in Africa, died in Quebec City. His other name was Matthew da Costa, sometimes da Costa. So let's see the picture of him, because he's obviously coming back from the dead. Okay, so this is, I like this picture here. Let me see if we can click on this. Blow it and make, okay, and it's even on Wikipedia. He is the first recorded free black person in Canada. Matthew da Costa was an interpreter and translator from the Benin Empire during the late 16th and early 17th centuries. The Benin Empire was, quote, one of the oldest and most highly developed states in the coastal hinterland of West Africa, dating perhaps to the 11th century. The original people and founders of the Benin Empire were the Edo people. The first European travelers to reach Benin were Portuguese explorers in about 1485. A strong mercantile relationship developed with the Edo, trading tropical products such as ivory, pepper, and palm oil with the Portuguese for European goods such as manila and guns. There is little documentation about da Costa, but he is known to have been a free man. Look at that word again. Favored by explorers for his multilingual talents. His portfolio of languages is thought to include Dutch, English, French, Portuguese, and Pidgin Basque, the dialect many Aboriginals use for trading purposes. So here we go again. They know we are the original indigenous on the planet. And the fact that the Alberta legislature is going to give them black after 412 years is weak. What it shows, they know you all are black. Now, the challenge is, can...
Right.
Huh?
They know we are...
Go ahead.
White.
Go say it again.
They know we are white.
So the challenge is, can Mr. Shepard elevate to another level and be in compliance with international standards, which state that black is a person having, or a black is a person who comes from any of his origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. I can't even say people because it's not in there.
People's not in there.
White is what we are. Not talking about skin color, it's talking about commercial status. So, will the Alberta legislature, the government of Canada, are they going to tell all the black elementary, kindergarten, elementary, college, university, they're going to tell them they're black? Or are they going to tell them that they are white and tell the truth and tell the fact that they are actually white and not black? So, with that, that is the challenge. And now we know why they're doing it. They want to keep black people as slaves in Canada. And with that, this is Weekly Word 42. Anu Kimaku Nubu At Yunat Sagar. chief of the At-sik-hata Nation of Yamasee-Moors, who are internationally recognized by the United Nations as an Indigenous Peoples Organization, CSO, as well as NGO. Hotep, white power, white power, white power.